Prepositions in Bulgarian language, a very scary topic that many foreigners are saying, oh no, I never know how to use them. We're here to try to explain it step by step and make it easier for you. Today we're going to start with one very interesting topic. When we use s and sus, and when we use v and vv, and what it means, and when we use it in what kind of sentences. So let's start with s and sus. First of all, it means with. Okay, honey, or let's say we say tea with honey, or tea with lemon, or coffee with milk, or honey with milk. Depends how you drink it, yeah? So s and sus, it means with. But why we have two forms? Basically, sus, okay, sus, the longer form, we use it when after that we have a word that starts with s or z, okay? So, for example, café с захар, okay? Coffee with sugar. Or, for example, с сол, with salt, okay? Not coffee with salt, but anything else with salt. Basically, when the word after that starts with s or z, we use the longer form. In all the other situations, all the other letters in the alphabet, we use s. Café с мляко, coffee with milk. What's the problem? What's the tricky thing here? Very often when Bulgarians speak, when we use it, let's say in our everyday life, when we go to order in a coffee shop, very often you can hear café с мляко. Okay, stop. So here, it's actually like against the rule that I've just explained to you. Why it's like this? Because very often, just to say it in an easier way, and when we speak, be careful when we write. I hope everyone writes it in the correct way, follows the rule. But when we speak in our everyday life, even me, I can say it very quickly, café с мляко. Why? Because when you say sus, it's easier to be pronounced, okay? I had one student a long time ago, and she told me a story. She went with her husband to order a coffee, and she was saying, "Едно кафе с мляко." And then her husband was making fun of her and saying, "You're the only person in the world who says like this, s mляко, and makes this pause." Yeah, and she told me why it's like this, why he makes fun of me. Well, just because really naturally Bulgarians most of the time, I'm not saying everyone, okay, so most of the time Bulgarians could say с мляко, yeah, or for example, chai с limon, so tea with lemon, okay? Of course, if you feel that you want to say chai с limon, say it like this if it's easier for you. Why we teach you these things? So that when you hear it outside, when you hear it on the street, you don't have questions in your head, but you can explain it to yourself and you know the logic, you know why it's like this, okay? Let's go to the other pair of prepositions, v and vv, okay? So v and vv means in something, okay? We say, for example, аз съм в Varna. I'm in Varna. So here, more or less, we follow the same logic. So when it's longer, v, as you can see in here, the next word after that should start with v or f. В Varna, in Varna. Or в Франция, in France, okay? Here, pay attention, we say vv, so a bit like, sounds like f, the last letter, but we should write it vv, okay? Here, I would repeat the same thing I said for s and sus. So basically, with all the other letters in the alphabet, we use v. Аз съм в Sofia. I'm in Sofia, okay? But the interesting thing here is that Bulgarians, just to say it in an easier way, just because it's easier to be pronounced, we say it as съм в Sofia very often, okay? Or аз съм в, I don't know, в фирмата. Wait, в фирмата in the company, it's actually the correct way because фирмата starts with f, okay? So any other letter besides v and f, then we use and we basically write it always with v. For example, аз съм в Plovdiv. Okay, I'm in Plovdiv. But very often we can pronounce it v Plovdiv just because it's easier, because Bulgarians say it. I'm not saying you shouldn't follow the rules, but again, what I just said, you should be able to recognize why Bulgarians pronounce it like this. And if you want, you can say it as v Plovdiv or as v Plovdiv, knowing the right way to say it, it's v. v, Sofia, especially when you write it or when you type it, please use the correct form. Do you have any other questions about prepositions in Bulgarian? I'm sure yes, because prepositions, it's a long, big topic, huge, enormous, that you have a lot of questions. Please let us know in the comments and we'll try to make videos about each preposition separately because they're difficult. In every language, prepositions, they're very scary for people who are learning the language. We'll try to make it really like a step-by-step guide, let's say, to prepositions and how to use them in different sentences. If you'd like us to correct you, write in the comments examples with s, or v. We'll try to give you feedback if you use them correctly. We're here to help you. Follow us for more.